Time travel serves as a view into the past and a window into what we had or what we could have.
Humanity is obsessed with time. For over a century, the idea of man being able to revisit the past or step into the future has captivated audiences and inspired the rise of a brand new genre. With each new tale of heartbreak and triumph, the time travel genre has ingrained itself into modern pop culture.
Time travel, I think, is so interesting because it's basically putting people from our time into situations that we could never be in.
The sense of fantasy that comes with time travel is what makes it so appealing, and the fact that we don't have it.
It's such an out there concept. It's like really not in our reach, and like it's something that if we could do, that we would definitely do.
As a society, we have like an obsession with like the past and the future. Like we study the past, we wonder what the future will be like. So like the concept of being able to go to either of those times, we just like it.
For some reason, it's so interesting to see like people from different timelines meet each other, people from different timelines experience things that they can't experience in modern day.
A lot of people like to think, oh, I wish I could go back 2 years ago when I looked like this, or I wish I could go in the future where I can look like this. We're never happy with what is happening in the moment.
The future is romanticized because that's another thing we want that we can't have.
It's such a treasure. Anything that isn't the present is such a good place to us.
You know, people want to go in the future because they want to see something new, you know? They want to see something that hasn't been done before.
If I'm looking into a thing that's showing me 20 years from now, I want to see flying cars. I don't want to see shoes that I have to tie myself. Like, I want technological advances. Like, you know, there's certain things, and like Back to the Future, they saw what they thought would be interesting 30 years in the future, and they showed it to us.
Well, Back to the Future is my favorite movie, period. And I think it's just because time travel there is used in such a smart way.
Back to the Future, completely. It's so good. It helped establish the genre in movies.
You can see in Back to the Future, there are little things that Marty does. When he goes to meet Doc Brown at the mall is called Twin Pines Mall. And when he travels back in time in the same location, he runs over one of the pines. And when he travels back to the future after everything's changed, the mall is now called Lone Pine Mall because there's only one.
Paradoxes are so confusing to me, and still to this day, I don't think anyone really understands quite how they work.
Like the grandfather theory of if you go back in time and kill your grandfather, how are you going to be born? And if you're not born, then you can't kill your grandfather. And I think that's such an interesting loop it gets into because it just hurts my brain.
One of my favorite paradoxes is actually in the Terminator when John Connor, the leader of the Resistance against the Terminators in the future, sends back a soldier to protect his mother from a Terminator, and in turn, unexpectedly, the soldier falls in love with John Connor's mother, and they have John Connor, which is kind of a cool twist and unexpected, and that's one of my favorite paradoxes, that he went to protect his future son that he didn't know was going to be his son.
The point of it is you can't do anything without consequences, and that's what makes time travel so interesting.
I think in the wrong hands, time travel could be the end of civilization as we know it.
I mean, it's crazy because I do believe that, you know, if somebody were to go back in time and interact with somebody from the past, that it would completely change things in modern day. The butterfly effect, I do believe, is extremely valid, and I think that it's something that is definitely plausible. I mean, sometimes I think about if I went back in time and I handled a situation differently, like how much different things would have gone.
If I had a choice, I would never time travel ever. If anything, I would go in the future just to see what's happening, but I would be too scared to go back and hurt anything that would lead up to the present.
I don't think I could ever go to the future. I'm too scared of the future to go to the future. I don't know. It's just, it really, like, if I knew what happened in the future and it was just completely different than what I thought it was going to be, and I'm sure it will be, that would just really freak me out for the rest of my life, because then I grow up and just think, like, how am I going to get there? I mean, Imagine getting your own life spoiled for you. You'd be so pissed. Like, you just ruin everything. Like, there'd be no point in living through those moments if you already know where it's going to end up. It's just like, just take me there already, you know what I mean?
Doc Brown said it best, the future is what you make it. So why go see what it is when we can just make it what we want?